All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're taking a little metaphorical journey to unlock the words through and back. We're going to demystify the hidden logic behind English phrasal verbs, because I promise you they're absolutely not just random pairings of words. They're actually these incredibly vivid physical pictures of the world around us. So, if you've ever felt like English vocabulary is just this massive, frustrating list to memorize, trust me, you are not alone. But let's think about your morning routine for a second. Have you ever slept entirely through a blaring alarm clock? When we say we're sleeping through a loud noise, we mean it literally completely failed to wake us up, right? You started sleeping before it went off, the alarm rang, and you just kept right on snoozing to the end of it. It's like you went on this complete, uninterrupted journey from start to finish without breaking your state. Or hey, consider another super common scenario. Have you ever bought something, realized it was damaged, or maybe just the wrong size, and had to return that bad purchase back to the store? These everyday, highly relatable little failures are perfect for introducing our next key word, because they instantly ground the grammar in real life. We aren't just learning vocabulary here, we're actually tracing out the physical mechanics of the things we do every single day. Now, what's really fascinating is exactly how our source material frames these verbs. It totally ditches the idea of giving you a rote list of definitions to just blindly memorize. Instead, it treats them as logical, physical metaphors. It breaks down the words through and back into spatial concepts, literally moving across spaces or returning items to where they came from. And once you catch on to that physical metaphor, the meaning of dozens of phrases just suddenly clicks into place. Okay, let's start by establishing the root concept of through. Basically, it gives us the idea of a completed journey. It's going from one side of a thing to the other, or from the absolute beginning to the very end. Think of it kind of like a successful penetration or, survival. For instance, if you live through something, you're experiencing a really difficult event from beginning to end. Like how folks who have lived through a war often have a profoundly different outlook on life. They started the journey, they endured the whole thing, and they came out on the other side. And this physical journey concept actually applies seamlessly to how we interact with other people, too. Like, if you're showing someone the ropes at work, you take them through the job. You're guiding them step by step, all the way to completion. It even works for human perception. If someone is being super charming, but they're secretly trying to trick you, and you realize they're just a con man, you see through them. Your perception is literally traveling past that fake exterior to reach the truth on the other side. This also brilliantly illustrates the contrast in how we consume information. Think about flicking through or looking through a magazine at the store before you buy it. That is a very quick, careless journey, right? But contrast that with going through a complex report. That is a completely different beast. It's carefully reading from start to finish to make absolutely sure every single detail is correct. So the absolutely crucial point here is the grammar's secret code. Whenever you're dealing with most of these phrasal verbs using through, the particle literally must go right before the object of the verb. You sleep through the alarm. You see through the con man. The direction of the journey always precedes the thing you are journeying across. It's a hard and fast rule, and it honestly just instantly cleans up your sentence structure. All right, let's switch gears and talk about our boomerang word. While through was all about completing a journey from A to B, back is all about the idea of returning. I like to think of it as the boomerang effect. Whether we're talking about physical items, digital messages, or even really intense emotions, throwing something back just means it's returning right to its point of origin. Let's look at some very literal, physical returns first. Say an item you ordered online is the wrong size, you simply send it back by post. Or if you go to the shop to exchange a damaged item in person, you take it back. Honestly, shops are always taking things back that they've sold us. And hey, it even applies to money. If you buy groceries with a debit card and ask for cash back, the shop literally returns a little portion of your digital funds to you as physical cash right there at the register. And this boomerang effect works perfectly for our modern digital lives too. You receive a message, and to reply, you just call, text, or email someone back. But what happens if the tech completely fails? Well, if an email doesn't reach its destination, it is physically returned to you. That digital letter hits a virtual wall and physically bounces back into your inbox. The metaphor honestly holds up flawlessly. Now let's see how this builds into metaphorical returns. We just talked about an email bouncing back, right? Well, people can bounce back too. If you bounce back from a tough situation, you're starting to be successful again after a really difficult period. You might hit rock bottom, but just like a literal rubber ball, you bounce right back to your previous successful position. Now, I want you to contrast this with our earlier grammar rule for through. For our boomerang verbs, the word back is actually wonderfully flexible. It can be placed either before or after the object of the verb. So you actually have the freedom to structure your sentences a bit more creatively when you're out there throwing verbal boomerangs. The source text actually gives us this really sassy exchange to illustrate the point. Imagine a mother telling her child, "Say thank you to Mrs. Brown." And the kid snaps, "Say thank you yourself." The mother immediately warns, "Don't answer me back like that." This perfectly captures the essence of answering back. It's not just a normal reply. That kid is taking the mother's authority and throwing it right back in her face like a boomerang. Ouch. And get this, we can even throw boomerangs through time. Take the really common informal phrase, "We go back 10 years." When you want to explain exactly how long you've known a good friend, you measure that relationship by throwing a boomerang 10 years into the past. It's just such an elegant, informal way of expressing the deep history between two people. It is also super fascinating to see the wild double meaning of biting back that's outlined here. Look at this contrast. Say Emma gets criticized and she doesn't hesitate to bite back, meaning she does something bad because someone hurt her first. That is a venomous boomerang. But on the flip side, if Callum asks what you think of his loud, hideous lime green suit, you might have to bite back your initial response. You are literally forcing that boomerang back into your own mouth before it escapes and causes a disaster. So the next time you flick through a magazine in a waiting room or you have to bite back a snarky comment about a coworker's outfit, just ask yourself, are you completing a journey or are you throwing a boomerang? Because honestly, once you start visualizing the physical mechanics behind our everyday conversations, English stops looking like this random, boring list of rules and reveals itself as a beautifully choreographed dance. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep looking for the hidden logic hidden right in plain sight.